images you're about to see might be a little graphic, so don't watch if they're too disturbing. Images you just saw were the outcome of drunk drivers. So imagine you're waiting on a line where it stretches for about a mile long and is wrapped around your entire town. And where that line leads you is into a funeral home. And you're there saying goodbye and giving your condolences to someone who died due to drunk driving. And that person was someone's child, nephew, sibling, cousin, classmate, and even a best friend. How would you feel if someone died due to drunk driving? Would you still get behind the wheel? Would you still drink and drive? Well, today I'm here to convince you on why you should not drink and drive. I've known someone that has died due to driving under the influence, and being at that funeral is heartbreaking. We're all college students, and we all, or most of us, go out and drink. But is it really worth getting behind the wheel, even if you think you're sober enough to drive? I don't think so. So I'm going to first talk to you about the dangers of drinking and driving, facts you might not know, along with statistics and stories to help persuade you why this is not the right decision. Let's begin with talking about why you shouldn't get behind the wheel. First of all, it's the law. Anyone's BAC, which stands for blood alcohol content, is above 0.08 will get a DUI. And anyone who is under 21 and drinking, even if you had one beer, which is equivalent to 0.001 BAC, and you get pulled over, you will get a DUI, you will get arrested, and your license will be revoked. According to alcoholism.com, a driver with 0.10 BAC level or greater is 7 times more likely to get into a car crash than someone who's been sober. A driver with BAC of 0.15 or greater is 25 more times likely to get into a car crash. Now, this is I did this little study. I took a 160-pound male drinking 2 beers within 1 hour. That person will have a BAC of 0.004, which is way below the legal limits of driving. However, that person has a 1.4 times more likely to have an accident than someone who's sober. Now let's say the person has 2 more beers. The likelihood of an accident goes up, their BAC level goes up to 0.08, and their driver is 11 times more likely to get into a car crash than someone who is sober. Now let's say the person has 2 more beers after that. Now they're up to a 6-pack. And the likelihood of an accident now is 48 times more likely to have a car crash. And that brings the person's BAC level up to 0.10. Now, let's say the person has 2 more. You already had a 6-pack, so how much do 2 more beers hurt? Well, except 2 more beers put your BAC level up to 0.15, and therefore you were more likely to get 380 times more likely to get into a car crash. In addition to that, there are some things that you may not know as well that relate to underage drinking and drunk driving. According to lifetip.com, young legal drivers ages 21 to 34 are responsible for more alcohol fatal crashes than other age groups. Over 40% of automobile accidents are alcohol related that people die. Approximately 30% of Americans will be in an accident involving alcohol, and it also says that basically it estimates that someone is either injured or killed in an accident involving alcohol every 2 minutes. According to alcoholalert.com, we're in the 4th month now, but before it said we're already in 2009, the 3rd month, there has already been 2,670 deaths caused by drunk driving. And let's say if you believe you're invincible and you can still drink and drive, but if you don't believe the risk of getting into a car crash or dying, there's also the risk of total cost of alcohol-related crashes, so your income basically. And the total cost of alcohol-related crashes is roughly $51 billion every other year. In 2007, alcohol-related fatalities were 15,387, which is 30% of all deaths in the world. And what's interesting is about 81% of all drunk drivers are male. Now that I've explained the facts and statistics on why drinking and driving is dangerous, I'm going to share a personal story as well. My best friend, Christine, her cousin, Justin Smella Seeley, died in a drunk driving accident in August 7, 2007, 3 years ago. He was leaving a party at night, believed he could drive home, was going over 100 miles per hour on the highway, and where the highway was, on the last lane, there's these metal bars that kind of divide the other intersection going the opposite way, and he crashed right into it. The car spun, and then he flew right out of the windshield and died a couple hours after that. And being at that funeral and that wake, seeing so many people there, it's heartbreaking. Now that I've told you all the dangers of why I shouldn't drink and drive, and gave you numerous of reasons on why driving under the influence is not the way to go, because if you drink and drive, it does not only put yourself at risk, but everyone else that may come in contact with you. Now, picture you again at that line at that funeral home, saying goodbye to your brother, your sister, your parents, a best friend, or a cousin. Or better yet, picture yourself in that coffin, having every single person you know mourning your death because you made one stupid mistake. Would you still drink and drive? Do you still think it's worth it?